Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders who are preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a recent news article that happened recently. And this is from Aljazeera.com. And this was published as of January 27, 2023, updated 11 hours ago. And it reads, one person dies in an attack on Azerbaijan's embassy in Iran. A guard is killed and two injured by a man with an assault rifle, the Azerbaijan foreign minister says. And it says an attacker broke into the guard post at Azerbaijan's embassy in Tehran and killed the head of security. And it says a guard has been killed in an attack on Azerbaijan embassy in Iran. The country's Minister of Foreign Affairs said, adding that it will evacuate its diplomatic staff. The attacker broke through the guard post, killing the head of security with a Kalashnikov assault rifle. It says Friday's attack in Tehran also injured two guards, the Azerbaijan ministry says. An investigation has been launched. And it says the president, Ilham Aliyev, if I pronounced that right, called the assault on his country embassy a you-know-what attack. And it says, and demanding a swift investigation. We are demanding that this you-know-what act be investigated as a you-know-what be punished. He said in the statement. He added that the attack against the diplomatic mission was unacceptable. The incident comes amending months-long tensions between the neighboring nations. Right in those neighboring nations, I believe it's Azerbaijan and Armenia. And it says in a strong word statement, the Azerbaijan ministry said in a recent anti-Azerbaijan campaign, and Iran has encouraged the gunman. It also accused authorities in Tehran of long ignoring Baku's call to bolster security at its embassy. Unfortunately, the latest you-know-what attacks demonstrates the serious consequences of the failure to give the necessary attention to our constant appeals in this regard. It says Iranian Foreign Minister spokesperson Nasir Kani strongly condemned the attack, according to a TV, saying the issue was under investigation with higher priority and sensitivity. And it says police in Tehran said that have arrested a suspect are investigating the gunman's motive. There were no indications from statements from Iran's officials that the attack was politically motivated. The suspect entered the embassy with two children and may have been driven by personal issues. Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency reports, citing the police chief. It says, however, the surveillance footage shared by Iranian state-owned news outlet Press TV shows that appears to be the gunman entering the embassy alone, firing inside the building before scuffling with one man who tried to stop him. It says the Iranian judicial Mazin news agency quoted Iran's prosecutor Mohammed Shah Hadari, as saying the gunman's wife had disappeared in April after a visit to the embassy. Shahrai added the man believes his wife was still in the embassy at the time of the attack. It says Turkey, which have close ties with Azerbaijan, commanding the treacherous attacks and called for the predators to be brought to justice. Azerbaijan is never alone. Turkey Foreign Minister Mevlut Kavusoglu said on Twitter. It says relations between Baku and Tehran has traditionally been sour, as Turkish speaking Azerbaijan is a closely ally of Turkey, Iran's historical rival. And it says Iran, home to millions of ethnic Azerbaijanis, have long accused Baku of fomenting separatist sentiments in the country. And it says Iran is also suspicious of Azerbaijan's military cooperation with Israel and arms supply to Baku, saying Israel could potentially use Azerbaijan's territory as a bridgehead against Iran. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth disgrace of nations with perplexities, and the seas of rage womb. Right, you got these nations are in the state of distress. That's why he's saying the increases of violence are increasing in the latter days, like uprises and uproars in the people of the world, distress of nations. These nations are in the distress. And as you seen right there, a person walked inside an embassy, was shooting at security guards, you know, in Iran. That embassy recently just happened. I believe one person died and two others were injured. So that's what we're seeing. The distress of nations, the uprises and uproars in the people of the world that's taking place around the world, and that's what we're seeing. And as this latest news story, I believe this happened yesterday, and this is reported from AlJazeera.com. And this was at a embassy, Azerbaijan embassy in Iran, Tehran of Iran. And it says one person dies in an attack on Azerbaijan's embassy in Iran, as the guard is killed and two others injured by a man with an assault rifle, the Azerbaijan foreign minister says. So that's what we are seeing, the continuing that spirit created for vengeance, which I'm about to bring that out as well too. So yeah, we're definitely seeing that spirit created for vengeance. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29. Ecclesiasticus 39, verse 28. I meant to say, Salaki. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, for which it lay on, right, for which in a fury lay on sore strokes, in a time of destruction that pour out the peas and pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made it. Right, because Yahweh Shai makes these spirits created for vengeance. Yahweh Shai, he put that spirit on these people in the world to be in that spirit of vengeance mindset, and that's what we're seeing around the world, and these things are increasingly, that sedition among man's spirit, which I'm about to bring out as well too. So you're seeing that lawlessness and the love of many are waxing cold, and that's what we are seeing, in the latter days. This is Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, I'm gonna start at 15 because we already know the modern day sword is the weapon. This is Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draw near, and one people should stand up and fight against one another. And that's what we're seeing in swords in their hands. Just like in ancient time, they had the sword, but now in modern day times, the modern day sword is the weapon, you know. And that's what we're seeing, you know. This is Second Ezra 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes in the course of their actions to stand in their power. Right, and this guy went up inside a embassy, Azerbaijan embassy, where a bunch of security guards and stuff like that, and where people were in it as well too. So he just went inside the embassy and he used an assault rifle and started shooting at people. And I believe there was a guy that was trying to tackle him, trying to detain him and stop the situation because it could have got worse. So that's what you call that sedition among men spirit, and that's what we're seeing in the latter days. That sedition among men spirit, invading one another. You know? And they should not regard their kings nor their princes. Ones that's in leadership, the ones that's in leadership in these countries, and there's uprisings and uproars and these protests and stuff like that. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the citizens of these countries trying to attempt to overthrow their leaders that's in power, the previous ones that was in power, and the current ones that's in power as well too. They had full support of their former leaders that was in power. Now you got the new leaders in power, and the citizens against them. They oppose their new leader that's in power. That's why you're seeing that sedition among men. That shall not regard their kings nor their princes, which the leaders of their country. That's why we see an increase of uptick of uprises and uproars in the people in the world with these protests. Just like the recent protests over there in Lebanon. They're going against their central bank officials, people that couldn't get their monies out their bank account, and they're going against their financial banks of central banks in that country over there, Lebanon. They're going through harsh economics. That's why I brought out Luke 21 and 25, of the stress of nations, and that's what we're seeing on the planet Earth. And that's this recent story right here, as a man walked inside a Azerbaijan embassy in Tehran, Iran, with an assault rifle, try to take out many as people as possible. But lucky he was detained by one of the security guards, was tackling him, trying to take the rifle away from him. So that's what we are seeing. That spirit created for vengeance, which I brought out Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. And that's sedition among men, invading one another. One people should fight and stand up against one another, and that's what we're seeing, and these things are going to continue to increase more and more throughout the whole planet Earth. And so with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushai. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through four corners of the globe, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom.